Okay, so in this video, we're gonna just see what to do once the robots are initialized to play around with them a little bit. So first of all, I'll do it again. So we start the robots. Just an important thing to note here is if you ever need to stop the control center, stop the robots first. Always stop everything, or at the very least, stop the agents before. So you don't need to stop the drivers, but at the very least, stop the agents. So the agents is this model that we're going to see in the next video. So here we have the control center. Now everything happens here. To control the robots, you have two options. You can either go with a joystick, I'm pretty used to it, or you can go with the keyboard. When the robots start off, you might want to just place them in a predetermined position. So to do that, you can press Control Alt and then from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the number pad on the right of the keyboard. That's going to give them their position, and then you can do Control Alt W and they're going to move to that position. Something I did recently seems to have created a bug where once in a while some of the robots are just not going to move, or they're not going to move until the other ones are fully in position. I haven't had time to debug that. If that happens, you might just need to go behind them and give them a little nudge in the back, and often they'll just start moving again. So yeah. So then, once they're in position, I'll just start here by exploring the parameters a little bit. So the space limits, so never modify this at runtime or else everything is going to crash and you're going to need to physically reboot the robots. This is used by the union here. The union actually uses a bunch of functions to create areas where the robots are not allowed to go. So it's a path planning. It's the path planning algorithm, basically. So you have the resolution here. That pixelates the map. So 100 is the maximum number of pixels in the rectangle that represents the map. These are all parameters which I've pretty much optimized. They could be better optimized. They're tuned but not fine-tuned. So if you want to play around with them, you can, but generally speaking, it works pretty well. So the obstacle radius here, you have Rmin and Rmax. So that is when the robots are calculating the other obstacles. If the other robot is very far away, it's only going to calculate a radius of 0.5 around that robot, but as it gets closer, that radius augments. It augments until it's 0.85 in this case. But all of this can be changed at runtime if you find that these don't work for you. Distance, minimum distance, maximum distance, the anti-collision. So this, the larger it is, the higher it is, the faster the robots are going to just halt if they notice an obstacle. Actually, I added an extra security measure to make sure that they don't collide, where if they sense another robot at a certain distance, this distance, they're allowed to turn, but they're not allowed to move forward anymore. So here, okay, the wait step. So yeah, here, this is specifically related to your algorithm. So you have the wait step, that's the variable C in your code. You have the ID of the bot that you will want to do a change with, and you have the new weight that you want to give the bot. So this, you can leave it like that, you can change it. Doesn't really matter. Whichever bot you're gonna change, ultimately it's gonna come down to the same math. Bot shift, these were things I was testing to avoid collision. Can leave it like this. Or you can change it again. It might work better if you shift it a little bit forward, but again, it works pretty well. Deadlock breaker, that's to make sure that they don't start following each other forever when they come face to face. So yeah, you can just leave that as is, I guess. Navigation parameters, well, you have the minimum speed, because when a robot gets close to another robot, it's going to slow down, and you have the maximum speed that it's going to go at any given time. You also have the maximum speed when it's going backward, because it doesn't use the collision avoidance algorithm when it's going backwards, so I make it go much slower. So you have the angular acceleration here, so I'm putting a minimum so that they don't stall, because if there's no minimum, sometimes they just stop completely stall. And I put a maximum so that they don't spin too fast, and so it's they hit their mark. The steepness, the speedness, the sigmoid symmetry, all of this are just parameters you can play with related to the control algorithm. So yeah, the angle tolerance, that's going to be when to determine when it reached its destination from an angular perspective, so it gives a little tolerance, and the linear tolerance, same thing, but for the linear position. Synchronization delay, so this gives a little this is 0.5 seconds, so when you start the robot so that they all start at the same time, it gives a little delay here. Again, you can touch it or not. The driver mode, don't touch this. Second order low pass filter, you can play with this. This has a lot of impact on how the robots are going to respond, how well they respond, whether it's a little bit like a PID, but it actually eliminates the noise at the top and the bottom. So when they receive a lot of new instructions, especially when there's a lot of adjustments that are being made because of the other robots being moving obstacles, it can create noise, which can make them wiggle a little bit. So having the right parameters here makes them go straight. And finally, speak instructions here. This will just speak out loud what instruction you're running. So position 1, position 2, if you're running the algorithm, if you're running the fuzzy algorithm, which has not been implemented completely. So yeah, that's it for the global parameters. Here in yellow, and this is going to be the same in the agent model, in yellow is generally what you're going to be working on, because that's your algorithm is all in here. I guess that we're going to see that in the next one. Okay, so moving up here. So now you have everything set up. Starting here in the motive data. So we have the positions and orientations on the third row here of all the robots. So as you can see right now, motive is detecting robot 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not detecting robot 5 because it's out of the camera area, and robot 6. Now only robot 1 through 4 are turned on, not robot 6. So despite it being detectable, it's not on. So we have here 1, 2, 3, and 4. Make sure that before you do anything, the active agents here are steady. So which means they're not just constantly changing. If they are constantly changing, there's something wrong. You will need to go turn off the bots and turn them back on. This is a problem with the communication. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, that's what you need to do. It's this here, so this is the commands that you send to the robots and how you send them. So you start stop is with Control Alt W. Move target near agent. So that is when the target is inside a restricted area. There's two ways we can move that target. Either we move that target so that it is at the closest point inside the perimeter, outside of the restricted perimeter. The other way is to move it to the closest point outside the restricted perimeter to the bot that is trying to reach that target. So it will give different results. The bots are going to act a little differently depending on which one is activated. If when you want to change the priority, so this now this should be there should be a little box like that here. I don't know why it's not there. Okay. Why it's not there, but so basically you have it here. So this is Control Alt D, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to fix this and you're going to see the proper thing here. So when you press Control Alt D, this changes the priority. So first what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to put them in position. So by doing Control Alt and whatever number on the number pad. Once you determine that, you start them. So Control Alt W. Now they're going to move to their respective position. Then you want to start the algorithm. So Control Alt S. Alt S. Okay, now it's started. So you see here the weights have been initialized, and then once that's done, I guess they weren't moving, but they already found they already converged. You will this works now. One thing you will notice is that the average here from the initial weights doesn't match the weights matrix. The average here on the final weights matrix. My hypothesis for that is that actually they are running, it's asynchronous. So each robot starts at a slightly different time, starts calculating at a slightly different time. Their CPU is running at a slightly different speed, and this creates some noise that makes it that it's not going to be exactly the same. Actually, what I think is happening is that there are as many matrices as there are active robots at any given time. And that they converge because they're communicating, but that to actually figure out this number, we would need to take into account that there are multiple dimensions and not just this two-dimensional matrix here, but actually an n-dimensional matrix. But yeah, so that's just something you will need to take into account. I can explain it in more detail when we discuss. The agency matrix right now, it's random, but you can go into the code, fix that. And then, yeah, so, okay, so now, see, we're seeing here what the robots are communicating to one another. Great, now robot 3 has reached its destination. So we can come here and we can see success. So it's reached the target zone. And we know that it's robot 3. Now I can see it because robot 3 is flashing white right now. Now to reset, you just press Control Alt and the number. You turn off the algorithm and they will simply go back to their position. So yeah, so what else do I have to say about this? So yeah, you have the position of each robot here, the initial, oh yeah, this is the initial position of the robots. And where they're going. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much just how you use it overall. In the next video, I'll go a little bit more in depth into how I implemented your algorithm, what you can play around with, the data that I set up so that you can do your analyses. So yeah, see you in the next video.